afternoon, and thank you for coming back to Insurance 101 by Trusted Capital. I am actually going to do a segment on something that actually just recently happened to me. I got a phone call from a client asking me for auto insurance coverage. No problem. So at that particular point in time, I did say to him, did you actually go ahead and listen to what I had told you to do from before? So he says to me, well, I'm not understanding. So that right there let me know that the answer was probably no. So what ended up happening was he had a vehicle. He wanted to turn in the plates to the vehicle due to the fact that the car wasn't working or whatever it was. He needed to do some work on it. So I advised him to actually suspend all coverages except for comprehensive. Because me as an insurance agent, now not all insurance companies will do this, but I knew that this carrier would. Because what ends up happening is when you don't carry insurance on a vehicle for a certain amount of time, usually 30 days or more, the insurance company automatically looks at it as a lapse of insurance. But you might say to yourself, well, if I don't have a car, why would I have insurance? Well, I'm going to tell you, just like I tell all my other clients, this is why they make something called a non-owned auto insurance policy. So, what that is if you do not own a vehicle, but in New York State, the law is, and you can look it up, it's the law that is on the books. If you carry a legitimate New York State license, you must carry liability insurance. Hence, the non-owned auto insurance policy. So what this does is it lists you as a driver. It takes into consideration your tickets, your accidents, so on and so forth, everything that we would use to rate an insurance policy. However, we would not list a vehicle on the policy. So you're going to say to me or say to yourself, well, when would this coverage ever be good, or when does this ever come into play? I have clients who actually live in Manhattan, and these people are very wealthy, and they own several condos and co-ops and things of that nature. So of course when they're in Manhattan, they don't ever really need to rent a vehicle, but they do actually travel a lot, and when they do travel, they rent vehicles there. So once they go into Florida or wherever it is, they need to pick up a vehicle while they're out on vacation or whatever the case is. So that's when this policy would come into play. So now you don't actually have to go and take out the rental car insurance company's policy. You will actually have coverage for yourself underneath your own self. Even though it won't list the rental vehicle, it basically is almost like AAA, where it kind of follows the driver. Or let's say that you have someone where you actually borrow your friend's car. So now here it is, you borrow your friend's car, and your friend basically has the state minimum for insurance, $25.50, which is your bodily injury, and $10,000 for your property damage. But now, first of all, I usually try and ask what coverages you carry, because I don't like to be liable for anything, but that's just me. But let's say now you borrow your friend's car, and now you go out, and most cars are worth $20,000 and up these days. So you go out and you smack up that Beamer that's sitting across the street while you're backing out the driveway, and you total that car. So now here it is, they only have $10,000 on their policy, but that Beamer cost about $35,000, let's say, to fix, right? Pretty cheap Beamer, but whatever, we're not going there. So let's say that it cost about $35,000 to replace that vehicle, or whatever the case may be. Where are you getting the rest of the money? That person will sue you out of pocket. But if you actually have your own insurance policy, your non-owned auto insurance policy, that property damage would come into play. Their insurance would pay out primary. Yours would then pay out secondary. So if you have, let's say, any person that I'm writing their coverage for, the minimum I'm going to write your coverage for is usually 100, 300, 100,000 for the property damage. You would have just covered smacking up that person's Beamer, and then you don't have to worry about being sued personally. So this is the reason why they do have certain rules, regulations, and laws on the books. So I don't ever want to hear you ask me or say to me again, I never had a car. I don't have a car. Why would I carry insurance? Because New York State law says if you have a legitimate license, you must carry liability insurance. Now, does everybody? No, but I don't want to hear you complain to me, why is your rate so high? So, the next thing you can do is do exactly what I had suggested originally to my client. When he told me, I'm just going to go ahead and turn in the plates. I'm going to try and get a new car within a month or so. And he says probably the max will be 3 months. So when I told him, just do me a favor, I'll suspend all your coverages except for your comprehensive, and when you actually turn in the plates, when you get ready to actually start this policy again, only thing I have to do is add the car to the policy. So you might pay, let's say, around $60, $70 for those 3 months, so $60 per month, less than $300 for 3 months, but it's much cheaper than being surcharged an additional $500 when you decide to restart that insurance in 3 months. So I want to tell you, thank you so much for tuning in to Insurance 101 by Trusted Capital. If you have any type of questions or concerns, please put it in the comment box below. I know that, again, I usually do state, make sure that you check with, I do New York State insurance, but what I always want you to do is check with your local insurance agents. Check with your broker, your state. Each rule has different regulations because insurance is actually regulated by the state. Most of it. The only one that's regulated by the federal government would be flood, but that's a different segment. So just make sure that you automatically check with your insurance broker. Make sure that you do your research and have a great day. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get notifications each time I drop the video. Thank you so much for watching and have a blessed day.